All right, students, this is your last video for this quarter. It's a video for the word innovate. Innovate. So notice that it's spelled with two N's in English. That's different from Spanish. In Spanish, it's a translation of the Spanish word innovar, which is very similar, but it's spelled differently. In English, it has two N's, and in Spanish, there's only one. So notice that when you're writing your sentence. Make sure you put the two N's. And it is a verb, and it means to make changes in something established, algo establecido, algo que ya existe, especially by introducing new methods, ideas, or products. So notice that it's not, it's not usually creating something completely that never existed ever. It's more like you have something that's already there, but then you make it better by introducing something new, or like inventing a new way to do it, or something new about it. Um, that's what it is. So it does not mean invent. No quiere decir inventar. It's you have something that already exists, and then you innovate. That means find a way to make it better than it was before. So like for example, let's see. If we're thinking about cell phones existed already for a long time, right? But then people use them to make phone calls. But then when smartphones were created, and the most famous one is the iPhone, although I think there were a few other ones around the same time. But people who created the first smartphones innovated by taking a phone and introducing many new ideas to the way it worked, so that now it's not just a phone for calling. You can use it for the internet, for apps, for all kinds of other things that you couldn't do before. So that's a good example of innovate, because the phone already existed, but then they changed it in many ways by making it new, making it different, so that it became a smartphone. Um, and so, as I said, Spanish translation is innovar. There are many word families here. Innovation is the process of making changes and making things in new ways. Innovated, innovating are adjectives with the ed and ing endings. Innovative, this is a good one to know. Innovative means it's a way of describing something as saying that it is new, like new and usually exciting. It's usually a good thing to say. If someone's creating something in a new way, if they want to promote their product or sell something, they'll say it's innovative, which means like it's exciting, it's new, it's different. An innovative product, it's a new, different, better product. And innovate usually is a good thing, although I mean I suppose it could be bad. But especially in our society right now, where people tend to think that technology is good, innovating is seen as a good thing. Innovator is a noun for a person who innovates, makes these kind of changes. So someone who creates a new product or changes a new product, makes it better, changes a product and makes it better, is an innovator. And then a synonym for innovate is pioneer or initiate. Pioneer can also be a noun, pionero, but in this it can be a verb. To pioneer means to like do something new for the first time, or to initiate. Yeah, and so let's look at some more detail in a sentence that gives an example with this. So here's a sentence: to make a big change in technology, inventors and companies need the time and money to innovate. So if they're going to make changes in technology, they need to get time and money and use that to make things better, because it takes time and work to make something better, to innovate. And let's look at one more thing, which is the sentence for literature for English class. So this is a sentence about a poet named Emily Dickinson, and she was a writer in the 1800s, in los años 1800, which was a time when most poets were writing and following rules. They had a structure that they followed, and there were traditional ways to write poems, and they wrote poems in certain ways. And so free verse is a more modern way of writing poems, which doesn't have rules as much. And in the 1800s, when Emily Dickinson was writing, most people did not do that, did not just break the rules. Poets followed rules. And she innovated, because innovating again is you take something that already exists. So poemas already existed, but she took them and did them in a very different new way. For example, so she innovated the form of free verse through her use of capitalization and punctuation. For example, at the end of all of her lines, she put a dash, which is like a long line, straight line going across at the end of the line. And that was not, most poets don't put that at the end of the line. So that was an untraditional thing that she did, which is free verse, like breaking the rules, doing it differently. So that's an example of how she innovated the form of free verse with some of her punctuation. So I hope that makes sense, and thank you for watching. That's it for